Hi everybody, Baruch Hashem. We're all back here after the days of the holidays of Purim and Pesach and the whole Agadah that we had on Pesach night, and now we're striving towards going to Shavuot. But the lessons of Pesach that we got and how we got to Mitzrayim and the lessons of why we were there and now that we came out, what should we carry on into the days of Sefirat Omer? We want to discuss some of these points, and B'ezrat Hashem, by using these tools, hopefully we could use this days of Sefirat Omer in a much better way. We all know that we discuss by Pesach, when we open the Pesach night, we have the karpas. The karpas, we take the piece of celery and we dip it into the salt water. And karpas, in a way of remez, is referring to Yosef HaSadik. Karpas is what also could be understood as Ketunet Pasim. Ketunet Pasim is the garment that Yaakov Avinu made for Yosef HaSadik. Why did he make that garment for Yosef HaSadik? One reason is, as we all know, now discussing these people, these are very holy people, but we have to discuss them, and in order to get the lessons that are coming out of them. It says in the Torah, Yosef HaSadik, he spoke Lashon Hara on the brothers. He saw them doing things that according to his opinion was wrong. And he used to come and say, Dibatam Ra to Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu was trying to give him a remes, to give him a hint, that in order for him to bring the family together and not to cause the family to separate, he has to act like royalty. And that's the Ketunet Pasim. Ketunet Pasim is made by a tolat. Tolat is a worm that he uses his mouth to make silk, and with this silk, they made the clothing of karpas. Karpas is one of the clothing that is mentioned in the Megillah, which Achashverosh used to give the clothing to people they could feel like royalty coming into the party. And that was Yaakov Avinu's message to Yosef, that instead of causing machloket in the family, and in order for you to be a king, which you dream all about, that you dream about being a king, as we all know about the stars and the moon, what have you, that he was supposed to be a king, but a king brings people together. And with your Lashon Hara, the same worm that could make this clothing of karpas, of Ketunet Pasim, could also use its mouth to destroy the biggest trees of Lebanon, the Arzei of Lebanon, by going into there and destroying it. And that's what Lashon Hara does. It destroys families, destroys communities. And that's why we had to go down to Mitzrayim, because we all know that Mitzrayim, there was a person there whose name was Paro. Paro, if you break the letters, we get Pera. The whole instinct of Paro and Egypt was that they always were bad-mouthing. And Hashem was giving us a remez. The reason that why we weren't going to the Galut of Mitzrayim is because we said Lashon Hara. Yosef and his brothers, that they sold him, and there was machloket. And also, it says in the Midrashim that why Midah connected Midah, we had to go to Mitzrayim, because in Mitzrayim, the Jews were still eating and drinking together and stabbing each other in the back by saying Lashon Hara. So we had to go to a nation where they, in the beginning, talked very nicely to each other and to us. Paro said, come, let's make the monuments, what have you. And little by little, the Perach became a Pricha. It became a very bad mouth, which put us into slavery. And that was Midah Keneged Midah. But Baruch Hashem, we fixed that by doing Teshuvah. That's why, at the end of 210 years, we went for Paro, Pera, to Pesach. And Hashem gave us Pesach as a declaration that we had fixed our Midah of not saying Lashon Hara. That's why, when we came out of Egypt, Miriam HaSedeket was punished so severely, because she was the first one to say Lashon Hara after we had corrected our sin of Lashon Hara. And that's why we are compared to all these things. We have the Chad Gadya. Chad Gadya, we finish with this. It's one of the songs that we say at the end of the Seder night. What is Chad Gadya all about? One of the things that Chad Gadya is about is that Gedi is Gematria 17. 17 was the age of Yosef HaSadik when he went down to Egypt. And that's what caused the whole Galut. And it says over there, in the original Chad Gadya, we also had a line about the mouse, and then the cat, and then the dog. Today we don't have the mouse for whatever reason. But if you go originally with this original the Torah that we're talking about, that the mouse over here was compared to Yosef HaSadik, where he used his mouth to say Lashon Hara. And the cat was the other brothers that they try to come and eat him because he caused machloket. And that's why we had to go down to Egypt, to the house of the dog. The dog was Paro. As we all know today, all the monuments that they found, one of the biggest monuments over there, one of the things that describes Egypt is the face of a dog. Because dog is the one that is using his bad mouthing and barking all the time. And we had to go there in order to fix our mouths. And Baruch Hashem, we got it out of there. We fixed it. But then we come to Sefirat Omer. Sefirat Omer, we know that Tamidei of Rabbi Akiva passed away during this time. This time was supposed to be a very beautiful time. The Ramban says, Nachmanidi, that it's a Chol HaMoed, that according to Kabbalah, you can't even shave until Shavuot, because we don't shave in Chol HaMoed. We don't paskin like that if you pshat. Alog remember you could, Lad Vomer. But that being put aside, these days, why was it pogea to Tamidim of Rabbi Akiva between Pesach and Shavuot? So according to the Marsha, and these Tamidim of Rabbi Akiva, unfortunately they said Lashon Hara. What do you mean? You could say that they say Lashon Hara? They could be Mechaya Metim. So one of the Mefarshim is that Pirushim is that because they were Chavruta, and they could say good things about each other. Oh, that's a beautiful Gemara, that's a beautiful Chidush, and they didn't say that. Instead, they said, I know that Chidush already. And when you could say something good, and you hold yourself from doing that, that's called Lashon Hara. And that's what the Lashon Hara and the Sinat Chinam and the not giving kavod to each other, that's meant according to the Marsha, and that's why that caused the 24,000 of Talmid of Rabbi Akiva to pass away. And why does it matter that it's after Pesach, between Pesach and Shavuot? Because I would say Yom Tov Rishon we bring the Korban of Omer, the Tenufa. Tenufa, if you take the words and separate it, is Tenu Peh. Tenu Yapeh, give your mouth to Hashem. This is a time that you just went from Paro, Pera, to Pesach, and you cleaned all your body from the Yetzer Hara, and you cleaned your mouth. Not just the Pesach cleaning, but cleaning your mouth also. And this is a time where you use your mouth not to give compliments, and instead you say, that's not a good chidush, that's not a good divrei Torah. That's why the Talmidim were so punished of Rabbi Akiva. But we have to learn from this, that we all just came out of Pesach, and there's so much sinat chinam going on in the world. But we cleaned our mouths, and we cleaned ourselves so much, we have to use this opportunity right now to go with a clean mouth. And instead of causing machloket, we have to start giving compliments to our wives, to our kids, to our chavrutas. And when Hashem sees that we're giving compliments to each other and not bad-mouthing each other, that's going to bring everybody together. And that's what's going to bring the Moshiach Tzidkenu. Amen. Shabbat Shalom Arach.